unravel as the light fades from view. Tales of old and stories bold, secrets waiting to be heard. Adventures start with every turn. Welcome to Tales of the Beard. Tales of old and stories bold, secrets waiting to be heard. Adventures start with every turn. Welcome to Tales of the Beard.
This is Tales of the Beard. And today, we are going over a fictional story, The Last Signal. Part 1, The Arrival. It was a quiet evening in the small town of Newton Falls, nestled deep within the Adirondack Mountains. The townspeople were used to the stillness, with only the occasional sound of a distant car or the rustling of leaves breaking the silence. But on this particular night, something was different. Hudson, a young woman who had recently moved to Newton Falls to escape the chaos of city life, was enjoying a cup of tea on her porch when she noticed a strange light in the sky. At first she thought it was a shooting star, but it moved too slowly and steadily for that. The light grew brighter and brighter, and it started to pulsate rhythmically, almost as if it was communicating. Curiosity got the better of her, and she grabbed her jacket, deciding to follow the light. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the light seemed to guide her, flickering softly through the trees. The air was thick with anticipation, and Hudson's heart raced as she approached a small clearing that she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a towering metallic structure, unlike anything she had ever encountered. It was sleek and alien, humming with energy. The light was so bright from the structure that it actually casted an eerie glow over the trees. Hudson's breath caught in her throat as she realized she was standing before something otherworldly. Before she could react, a low, resonant voice echoed in her mind. "We have chosen you." The words reverberated through her entire being, leaving her simultaneously terrified and entranced. Part 2, The Message. The voice continued, explaining that it was a message from an ancient race, one that had been monitoring Earth for millennia. The structure was a beacon, a device meant to establish communication with a worthy human. They had been waiting for someone with the right combination of curiosity and bravery, and Hudson had proven herself. The voice revealed that the world as Hudson knew it was on the brink of catastrophic event, and there was going to be a shift in the planet's magnetic fields that would render most of modern technology useless and plunge humanity into chaos. This event, however, was not natural. It was orchestrated by a malevolent force from beyond the stars, one that sought to wipe out humanity and claim Earth for its own. "We can help you save your world," the voice said, "but the choice is yours. Accept our gift, and you will have the power to avert this disaster. Refuse, and your world will perish." Hudson hesitated. The weight of the decision pressed down on her, but she knew there was only one option. "I accept," she whispered, her voice trembling. In response, the structure began to vibrate, and a beam of light shot from its peak into the sky, disappearing into the stars. The voice in her mind faded, replaced by an overwhelming sense of purpose. Hudson knew what she had to do. Part 3, The Journey. Over the following weeks, Hudson became consumed with preparing for the event the voice had warned her about. She gathered supplies, studied survival techniques, and tried to warn others in Newton Falls, but they dismissed her as crazy. The townspeople went about their lives, blissfully unaware of the impending doom. The days passed, the sky began to change. Unusual auroras lit up the night, and strange weather patterns began to emerge. The animals in the woods grew restless, their behavior erratic. Hudson felt the tension building, like the calm before a storm. One evening, she sat on her porch, ground suddenly shook. The lights in her house flickered, and a deep hum filled the air. It has begun. Hudson grabbed her backpack already with the essentials and ran to the clearing where the structure stood. When she arrived, the beacon was glowing with an intensity that made it difficult to look at it directly. The air crackled with energy, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to pulse in time with the light. As she reached out to touch the structure, it responded instantly, enveloping her in a cocoon of light. Her surroundings melted away, replaced by a vast, star-filled void. She felt herself being transported, her consciousness expanding far beyond the limits of her physical form. Part 4. The Climax. In the cosmic expanse, Hudson came face to face with the malevolent force the voice had warned her about. It was a swirling mass of darkness, pulsating with a menacing energy that seemed to devour the light around it. This was the entity that sought to destroy Earth, to consume it, as had countless other worlds. But Hudson was not alone. The ancient race that had chosen her bestowed upon her a weapon, an energy so pure and powerful that it could rival the darkness. She could feel it coursing through her, a blazing light that grew stronger with each passing second. The dark entity lunged at her, its trendrils of shadow reaching out to engulf her, but Hudson stood her ground, focusing all her will into the light within her. With a primal scream, she unleashed the energy, a blinding beam of light that pierced the darkness. The force of the attack shook the very fabric of space, and that entity recoiled, its form fracturing under the assault. But it was not enough. The darkness was too vast, too powerful. As Hudson's energy began to wane, she realized with horror that she was losing. In a final act of desperation, Hudson made a choice. She allowed the light to consume her completely, merging with it until she was no longer a distinct being, but a pure force of energy. She became the weapon, a living embodiment of the light. And with one last all-encompassing surge, she unleashed everything she had. The void exploded in a supernova of light and energy, obliterating the dark entity in an instant. The power of the blast so immense that it rippled across the cosmos, shaking the foundations of distant galaxies. And then there was silence. When Hudson awoke, she was lying in the clearing, the structure standing silent and dark beside her. The sky above her was clear, the stars twinkling peacefully as if nothing had happened. But Hudson knew the better. She could feel the change in the air, the subtle shift in the planet's energy. The catastrophe had been averted. The malevolent force was gone, and the Earth was safe, at least for now. But Hudson had paid a price. The light that had once filled her was gone, leaving her feeling empty and cold. She was just a human again, alone in the woods, with no evidence of the battle she had fought. But as she stood up and looked up at the night sky, she smiled. She had saved the world, and even if no one ever knew, that was enough. The stars above twinkled in silent agreement, and somewhere deep within the cosmos, the ancient race watched over her, their chosen champion, now and forever. Hopefully you enjoyed the tale of the last signal. Hopefully you'll come back for another episode, and if not, well, hopefully you were left with a good impression of this one. Again, this is Tales of the Beard. We'll be back again with another episode very soon.